Greetings to all, and welcome to Dark Soul Gnosticism. I hope you're all doing well, wherever you may be around the world, as usual. Today we're gonna get into a request made by one of our members, which is a great question, actually. It was asked, how should one go about when it comes to offerings? Okay, there are tons of opinions about this out there, tons of views everywhere, and people are generally not sure of what they should go with. Nevertheless, there aren't really much of these methods which can be deemed right or wrong, but at the same time there are. It's a rather complicated topic, but it can be made very simple with small bits of understanding coming here and there if we combine them. First of all, a system which I suggested, which would be easier to incorporate within your practice, would be to try and understand the elementary energy of the spirit that you're dealing with. Okay? What does that mean? Look at who you are summoning first. Okay? And try and see, as you study for the particular spirit, what his elemental attributes would be. Okay? For example, should you be dealing with an earthly spirit, okay, then you would be seeking for the earth element to go and perform your offerings. Okay. Should you be seeking out a fiery spirit, then you should use fire to amend your offerings. Okay. What does that mean? For example, as I stated, let's say you started dealing with Belial. Okay. Belial is known to be of the earthly element, and he represents the rune of Otala. Okay. Actually, in astral interaction, when you are starting to interact with him, he will bring you to the tower once you reach that stage, to the top of it, once you pass a specific point of transformation, after you cross that and many other tests, yada yada yada, through the tests of the abyss and all that, then you return to the tower, and this time you get to pass the tests and corridors inside it, and if you pass that, you will manage to be able to stand at the top with him. Where you will be given more knowledge and more instructions of what is to come, yada yada yada. Now, and he will show you, basically, he has a particular black book that he will show you things from. One of them being the rune Otala in red, and basically that's how you will know the elements of what you're dealing with and what it is that they represent and what this attribution is, and so on and so forth. Otala, for those who don't know, is a Nordic rune, Norse rune, and it represents material gains. Okay, material gains, not necessarily related to monetary earnings. They relate more to settlement, basically. Okay, real estate, housing, things like that. Okay, land ownership, and the list goes on and on and on. Feel free to study runes. Of course, it will help a lot with your practice. Even if you are not of a certain a descendant of the Nordic placements, that doesn't mean anything. Spirits will definitely sometimes bring runes and other symbols for you to deal with and understand what it is that you should do next. So, generally, when it comes to the earth element, you should try and seek the outdoors, nature, to perform your offerings. Okay? One thing that he guided me to do and told me to do in the very first stages as I first started working with him was to take my offerings and take them to the woods, and he would let me know which particular tree he prefers. And that would be, as he calls it, my tree, as in the ritual tree, which I would go and place my offerings under. And then I would have a sigil with my own life force upon it, okay? And I would bury it in the ground as he instructed, and then I would simply leave my offerings there, okay? On top of it. So, no light fire, nothing else used, okay? Simply leave the offerings there. Call his N or whatever words he has given you personally if you receive any, if you're at that stage of channeling, 3 times and leave. Chances are he will appear to you in one way or another, especially if you're new, okay? These appearances, of course, won't be on the daily. It's rare. To be able to get to that particular state of practice, it takes years, it takes hard work, it takes a lot of path workings, okay? So don't be alarmed about these things and don't focus on them early on. That's one way for the earthly element. Baal Fagork has an earthly element as well, okay? Although he's primarily a fiery spirit. But he does have an earthly element to him as well. That particular earthly element acts as a co-manager and guardian of the treasury spirits of Lucifugo Focal, who is also of the fiery element, okay? Primarily. Spirits can have many different elements, okay? But it depends what aspect you're dealing with. Nevertheless, there is a general aspect which is written down that everyone can start with, okay? And as you go along and your familiarity increases with the practice and the spirit, then you will be able to see more aspects and you will see more elementary energies and attributes within them, okay? Moving on to the fire element. Should a spirit be of the fiery element? Needless to say, it would be best to form a particular fire source for it, okay, which you could dedicate to it as an offering place instead of an altar. A fireplace, okay, if you have one, if you can access one, a fireplace, even indoors, would be a great portal to that particular spirit, okay, which you could use to summon the spirit. It will manifest through the fire, and then you could throw all your offerings into that flame, okay, and let them burn in there in safety. It's a tremendous portal. The spirit will bless the space and the fiery energy that comes out of the fireplace. So literally every time you light it, the heat will have been attributed to the spirit, and it will be one with the spirit at that stage. So everything that comes out into the room of that heat is going to bless the space and cleanse it automatically from there on. This is a tremendous and great way to have a permanent raised sacred space, okay, when you go into ritual, when you have your fireplace. Not everyone is going to have a fireplace. It is also great to use a circle stone outdoors in safety as always. Don't burn anything and be careful, okay? Try to use natural materials as much as you want, as much as you can. Study the process of lighting a fire naturally. I would never suggest using toxic flammable substances to start a fire outdoors in a forest or in any protected area. It is extremely dangerous. The wind can pick up at any time. You can start a massive destruction, okay? And it may or may not be an accident. That won't matter in the eyes of the authorities. And in general, we are to respect nature. We are not to, go out there and destroy it. So, with that being said, don't use gasoline and things like that. It's very dangerous. Okay, like I said. Needless to say, if the wind picks up and the gasoline starts, with the wind going on you, the fire which touches it is going to transfer it like a bridge back over to you. Seeing it happen, you're gonna go alight like a candle. Don't do these things. Do it naturally, in a controlled environment as much as possible, with a stone circle, not on a windy day, and not under trees or close to trees. Somewhere out in the open where camping and fires are allowed, generally. Okay? You may use this and you may summon the spirit. And of course, the spirit will bless the fiery sacred space, and you may throw your offerings once again into that circle. And third option and resort, of course, if you're indoors and you can't go anywhere, use a bowl, okay, which can withstand the element of fire and will not break or crack or melt, of course. And once again, you may summon the spirit and ask it to put its energy through this particular fire in the bowl. Bless the bowl as well. You may draw with permanent marker the sigil of the spirit, okay, on it around all four corners, okay, or even underneath it, not within it, because the marker is toxic and then toxic fumes will be released as it burns. Plus, it's not going to survive long when you start a fire into it, of course. Safety above all, as I said, don't burn anything that is considered toxic within a fire. The fumes will affect you, so you can literally poison yourself. It won't be much in the first place. It's more or less not deadly, but as you keep doing it, these fumes will remain in your space, and you should never take any risk with something like that. Okay. Safety above all. Even when doing candle alchemy, when you light your candles and you leave them somewhere, never leave them unattended or leave, okay? And always use, of course, a base which will perfectly hold the candles and will not, as they melt down, there won't be any danger of them leaking anywhere or falling over or what have you, okay? There are plenty of specific bases that will hold things in place so they don't move. And when they burn down, they will still remain in place, okay? They literally cost nothing. They can be purchased in any website online. One thing when it comes to the fiery bowl, because of the amount of heat, because of the amount of, that the bowl can hold, it's probably not going to be too large or too big. Chances are you could have some smoke alarms too, so try not to create smoke. Fire alone won't set off an alarm as much. You need smoke for that. I would say have all windows open when this is performed, or even better, do it in your balcony if you have one. Okay, try to avoid anything setting electronics off, and security systems. But you should use more candles to amplify this particular operation. 4 red ones are considered good on each corners. Okay, each corner forming a square when it comes to the fiery spirits. For some reason, Balthagor is fond of the square shape in geometry. Okay. Majority of other spirits are very fond of triangle, as it is a symbol of manifestation, which I personally use very often, and it produces tremendous results. Trigonometry is honestly it's one of the greatest things you could do to incorporate within your alchemy, and mathematics in general. It's difficult. I personally hate numbers, but if you can add this into your practice, it will make a tremendous change. Okay. Moving on to the air element. Solar spirits tend to be of the air element, or more or less, more often. Now, the air element, will require the use of fire because, I mean, we can use a particular stick, okay? But it can and a stick, an insta stick, okay? But that alone will not be enough, okay? We would have to burn our offerings and then scatter them into the air, okay? Usually somewhere from above on a distance if possible, okay? So if you do not live on the ground floor, you can simply take your little sigil or other offerings which you have, burn them to ash, scatter the ashes outside, okay? Making sure there's no one down there, of course. We are not throwing solid objects into the air. We are literally only allowing for ash to be dissolved into the ethers. This tends to work for quick manifestation, both in alchemy casting and in offering and in delivering offerings. Okay, when I first started, it's something I was told to do very often by the spirits. If I had a sigil with an offering, I would put my life force upon it, burn the offering, throw it in the air. If I wanted to deliver a message or cast something, I'd write it down. Okay, sigil, again, sign with life force, burn it to ash, throw it into the ethers. And it worked way quicker. Okay. Going more advanced, you would be given words of power in demon language from the spirit to empower these offerings when it comes to that particular stage of your practice. When you reach it, they make a tremendous difference as well. They open huge portals between you and the veil and the spirit, which is going to be there already. It is, of course, like I mentioned, of best practice to go into ritual and summon the spirit before you do the offerings, okay? Another great offering, which is general to be used for beverages. You may take a stick, okay, and carve the spirit sigil on the ground. And you may pour libations over, or beverages, sorry, over, okay, of spirits. Things that the spirits generally adore is hard liquor, brandy, whiskey, vodka, gin, and red wine. Okay. When it comes to Father Elegua, he loves white room. Okay, I personally have been instructed to give him Malibu room. He really loves that. Now, the nature of offerings is going to vary. It always will be different. Spirits will request different things according to their mood, according to their aspect, according to the time that you summon them. What is the season? What is the time that you are summoning? Is it day? Is it night? Generally, day or night doesn't really matter, but nighttime would be good to start with for most spirits. Okay. There's way too many things which are going to influence the offering requested and the aspect of the spirit that you're going to actually connect with. Your soul attributes, time, season, month of the year, which year, okay? Energies fluctuate literally, making one spirit or the other, coming into greater influence around the world and then changing and changing and changing. These energy waves open and close and change and twist, just as the planets would, okay? So it's literally energy after energy after energy coming and throwing, its rays into the world non-stop. Our world works like this. There are certain windows around our world which allow for lunar and solar activity to pass, okay? There are certain numbers of these windows which allow everything to fluctuate, work, change, transmute, what have you. The more you stay in this, the more you will learn, and what God has created out there is crazy, okay? I've seen so much, and yet it's not even the fraction of what's out there. It's insane, okay? So that's pretty much everything, and don't get stereotypical with offerings. For dark spirits, a blood offering usually is desired, or the life force from the south. But I wouldn't recommend you doing that if you're not ready to get into the path and if you're not ready to commit your life. I've already spoken before what kind of bond the life force creates and why they require this. Okay? It's not a joke. It's not like it's not the same like, giving a small beverage or some incense or anything like that. Nowhere near. But offerings are a great way to introduce yourself to the spirit and to try and build a connection. If a particular spirit likes you, chances are it has come forth by itself. And it will continue to approach and watch slowly as you perform your ritual, as you give your offerings, okay? And then things will increase and intensify much more. So, generally, using this system will help you go very, very far. And yeah, sorry, like I said, don't get stereotypical with offerings. There are spirits, for example, known for certain offerings, but there are others who will demand offerings that you've never heard of before. For example, Baron Samedi and Father Alegua are well known for being fond of cigars, okay, and smoke. But that's not the only spirit who's going to ask for that. Believe it or not, you will get a rare request or occasion. You will hear of it. Maybe it's not going to be you, maybe it's going to be someone else. Of Hecate requesting cigarettes to be burned to her name. Okay? Hecate is not known for that at all. Okay? I personally have not been aware or asked to ever give her smoke or cigarettes. Yet again, it happens. There are many things that the spirit could ask. Okay? There has been an occasion that I know of where Belial was dealing with a woman who was new, and she had her first astral encounter after receiving help, okay, from me. And she was walking with him in the plains of his kingdom with different colors everywhere. And he told her that he requires a specific offering to begin the path working with this particular person. And he requested that she herself bakes him a chocolate cake in a specific way, okay, like he wanted it. So, like, she found it weird, but he just smiled and said, "That's what I want," and that's it. I mean, he's asked me of different things as well. One of them being coffee with cinnamon. It used to be a royal beverage back in Middle Age, um, medieval, sorry, times. Um, According to him, it may or may not be a very known fact. I don't really spend all of my time studying the planet's history that much. I know a good bit of it, but I'm not an archaeologist. So he really enjoys that. And if invoked to give that offering to the spirit directly, to put the spirit within you, if you're at that stage, it's even better. Okay, the spirit is going to receive that directly, which makes all the difference in the world. They really love that. And you will also like it as well. There are cases of other spirits enjoying green tea. President Marbus has asked me of green tea before. I never believed that a spirit would like that. Okay, it's a great beverage for fitness and overall health as well. But I never thought spirit would like it because it's not sweet. It's not something that we would find overly pleasurable or stimulating for the taste receptors. But there you have it. Any request can be made. Requests can be altered and changed at any given time. Generally, you could go with fine meats, you could go with incense candlesticks. You could go, sorry, with candles anointed with certain oils of good quality, incense sticks, dragon's blood, and other resins that you can burn, and alcohol beverages, as we claimed. And you may use these three methods that we mentioned. And that pretty much covers it. So let me know if you have any more questions in regarding to this topic. Yes, there are many different methods out there, and this system hopefully will help you define and understand which one would be best to incorporate with according to the spirit of your choice. Okay, so I hope this helps your development and your practice. Let me know what you think, and as always, rise and conquer, and the best and the best to all. See you next time.